Hey guys, welcome again to my channel. This is Bambi's Breakdown, where me, Bambi, aka Richard, will be doing another movie review for you guys right now. Tonight's movie review is going to be about another older movie that came out a couple years ago. For tonight's video channel too, I just wanted to point out that I did ask you guys on Instagram about what I should pick and everything like that. The two options were Searching and The Dead Don't Die, and it looks like you guys all voted for The Dead Don't Die. So anyways guys, we're going to get into that. I do want to do a video later on about Searching though, because I really did like that movie, and I do want to come around and watch it again and to get my thoughts on about it this not the second time around, maybe the third or fourth time rewatching it, because I did like it the first couple times I watched it. So we're definitely going to talk about that eventually. Today though is going to be about The Dead Don't Die. And I also wanted to give a huge shout out to my buddy Holy. He was actually the first one that suggested me doing a review on this, and not that I put it to the side, but I knew it was on the list, and all you guys basically voted it to basically become today's video a lot sooner than I originally planned it. So today we're going to be talking about this. Hey Holy, this one's for you. This movie is directed by Jim Jarmusch and has a star-studded cast, once again like my last video of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But this one's got Bill Murray, Adam Driver, RZA from the Wu-Tang, Selena Gomez, Tom Waits, and a bunch more that I could probably name off a list and probably do a 20-minute video on everyone that's in this damn movie. But this movie was really good. Did have a lot of negatives, I should say, but for the positives, they were really high. So getting into this, it's basically just about Adam Driver, Bill Murray. They're cops in this small little town, and they started noticing a lot of things in the world have started to change for the worst. Coming down to animals running away, the time changing drastically during the day too. That was a really big deal for them. And then coming to fruition that they're finding, zombies basically running around and killing people, and they have to figure out how to survive and what to do with them. So once getting into the story, I did notice that Jim Jarmusch took a lot of notes from George Romero and his zombie films. There are a lot of homages, and he even referenced it a couple times in this movie. So I really like that. The directing and everything were spot on, just like a George Romero movie. Did really good. I did like that a lot. Adam Driver and Bill Murray were amazing in this movie. Every time they were on screen, I didn't want to look away. Their chemistry was so good. I loved it. And I also wanted to point out that if you're a super huge fan of like Zombieland, Shaun of the Dead, and zombie movies like that, like even maybe, I don't know, Dale and Tucker vs. Evil, something like that, this might not be your film. It might, not saying it won't, but this is a very dry humor movie, and I can't push that more off because it's a very dry humor. The whole time I was laughing, but I can tell people when I saw this in theaters a couple years ago, they weren't too into it. I heard a couple people yawning and stuff like that. So I can totally tell if you don't get that dry humor, you don't like that dry humor, just please don't watch this movie. You're definitely not going to like this at all. But back into the movie, Adam Driver, Bill Murray were spot on perfect. The cast were good. The supporting characters and everything, they just weren't very memorable, I should say, or they didn't have too much really to do with the movie. Besides, I think Tom Waits' character, he was definitely like a observer. He was definitely there for almost all the parts of the scenes that were happening. He was just in the background. He started noticing things that were different. He starts giving you little clues into what's going on and what's going to happen into the future. Stuff like that. The practical effects were very good, very well done. I love that I saw a lot of practical effects in this movie. Can't stress that enough. CGI is just overdone in some movies. I don't think that I should say I hate CGI, because I don't. It works very well in some movies. But sometimes people just overuse it and they don't know when to use it right. And this movie did know when to use it right. Used a lot of practical effects. I loved every part of that too. That was awesome to see. But to my negatives, there were just some things that I just didn't think were needed in this movie. This wasn't so a negative, but if you know Jim Jarmusch's movies, he does do a lot of social commentary. This one, of course, right along with it, he kind of showed of like an addiction side that we have, and when we come from zombies, we never leave that addiction. Example, Iggy Pop and his girlfriend are resurrected, become zombies. They go break into a diner, and they kill the two waitresses that are working there. But at the same time, right when they do that, they go coffee, and they're looking for coffee because they're addicted. They need that addiction still. They need that fuel. Later on down the road, there's a couple guys trapped into a hardware store, and zombies are coming in, and of course zombies are walking by with holding their cell phones or doing stuff like that with their cell phones, and you can tell, okay, there's an addiction to cell phones, addicting to posting stuff on the internet, things like that. So that was another thing. It was okay. I just didn't hate it. I wasn't a positive, really wasn't a negative. It was just there. Negatives though, there were some plot holes and things that just didn't connect completely. One of the biggest ones is about a group of kids that I believe are in like a juvenile hall type situation, and basically three of them get out, and a lot of this movie doesn't surround them, but they show a lot of them. They show them communicating, how they hang out, because it's two girls and a little boy, and you know they're not supposed to be with each other in like the same rooms because they're in juvenile hall. So there's a lot of scenes where the cop has to break them up, but you get all these conversations with these kids, so you're invested into what these kids are going to do. And even when they escape, you're invested. You're like, oh, what's going to happen? And then you just never see them again. Like, they get out of this juvenile hall, they're running from zombies, and you just never see them again. And it's kind of like, what just happened? You know, I don't know. But yeah, that was one of the biggest negatives. Another was the ending. I didn't like the whole breaking the fourth wall. Also the alien thing. There's a part where like one of the actresses, basically, she's very mysterious as always, and she's a badass, by the way. She's over there slicing zombies' heads off with her sword and just slicing through them. She's a fucking badass. So this whole movie, I will not take away from that. That was awesome to see. But near the end, I guess she gets on her computer, dials and calls some aliens, and at the end she gets picked up by some aliens. I don't get it. That was just not there for me. I didn't really care about that. And then back to, the breaking the fourth wall thing. Adam Driver and Bill Murray at the end, they're getting surrounded by zombies in their car, and they're like, oh, well, I read the script. You didn't read the script, or this is what happens, and stuff like that. I didn't like that ending. If you did, that's cool, but I just didn't care for it. I think it didn't fit, especially during the whole movie. It's dry humor surrounding and stuff like that. And to end it like that, I don't know. I mean, the shootout and everything, that was cool. If they just ended and they were like, oh, we're gonna die, let's just go guns a-blazing and shoot out. Okay, that's cool. I actually dig that a lot. That was really cool. And the directing too, part of it was awesome. But just the whole build-up, I just didn't care for. But other than that, those are my huge negatives on the movie. I do think you guys should see this movie. Also, some of the Easter eggs were pretty cool and pretty catchy. One of my favorites is RZA from the Wu-Tang is in this movie, and he's a delivery driver. Well, his company is called WUPS, WUPS, and I thought that was freaking amazing. I thought that was so hilarious. I remember being in theaters, like nodding my wife, just like, hey, did you see that? Did you see that? That was tight. But yeah, other than that, this movie was great. I can't really say anything too bad. I would say watch it if you guys haven't watched, especially if you like dry humor and stuff like that. I loved all that in it. Adam Driver, Bill Murray. The only thing I could say is I wish they worked on their characters a little bit more in the writing process, because they were kind of bland character-wise, but their banter and them working together was spot on perfect. And, and speaking on that too, if they could have worked on some of the other characters too, because it was really just Adam Driver and Bill Murray, and there were characters, but they weren't too memorable because they had, no plot, nothing in them for us to follow, and for us to be like wanting to follow where these people are. And the people that we did want to follow, they just kind of cut them off and ended right there, and I didn't like that too much. Other than that, definitely go check out this film if you guys haven't checked it out yet. It came out a couple years ago. Hope you guys enjoyed it. For this movie, I'm gonna have to rate it a B-, just for the, I did like everything, the zombies, the special effects, the dry humor, the connection with Bill Murray and Adam Driver, like that, but there were just some negatives I had to bring it down. And I will say B- just because it is rewatchable. I've rewatched it a couple times, and I think you guys should watch it too, and hopefully it goes onto your Blu-ray shelf like it is, like mine behind it. Once again, guys, thanks again for watching my videos. We'll do another video pretty soon. Probably gonna do searching next. Please be on the lookout for that next. Hope you guys have a good night. Stay safe, everyone, during these crazy times. Have a good one.